Hello again, everyone. This is Jan from New York City, and my channel name is Jan from New York City Saves Money. Hey, how you doing on this Wednesday? Yeah. Middle of the week. Happy Hump Day. Where's the camel? Oh. Hey, listen, want to talk to you today about expert Dave Ramsey. He is, in my opinion, one of the best. I mean, not the only, but one of the best financial experts really on planet Earth, in my honest opinion. I'm sure you've heard of him. If you've not heard of him, I do really encourage you to check out his YouTube channel, and he's on the radio in the afternoon, and you could get tons and tons and tons of advice. But there's something that I want to mention before I mention the link that I'm going to put down from him in the description box. He actually appeared on the Rachel Ray Show a number of years ago, but the same financial rules apply even today. I think it was back in 2017 when he actually got onto that program. So I'm going to link that into the description box below. But I want to mention something that has been applicable for myself. And this is long before I ever in my lifetime ever heard of expert Dave Ramsey. And basically it's this: try to take any issue that may seem a bit overwhelming in baby bites. They always called it baby bites. He calls his thing baby steps, and that's absolutely wonderful. But I have called it baby bites in my lifetime for years, because I always said you could easily swallow baby bites, but it's a lot harder to swallow difficulties in huge chunks. Am I right or am I right? So take that approach. And many times, like, you'll hear me mention about saving small amounts of money, and and maybe in 10 months you'll get it, blah blah. Now some people might say, oh, that's just such a tiny goal. Well, for some people it's a tiny goal, and for some other people it could be monumental. So I never want to forget that portion of listeners to this, that they count as well, and there are beginners, and always keep in mind there are people who did not grow up in a financially sound environment, or for whatever the reason, they just never heard of it. This stuff, financial information, in my honest opinion, should be taught in school. This should be a regular subject matter. I don't understand, why I'm speaking actually into the elementary grammar school level. I'm not even saying high school. I'm not even saying later on. What I'm saying is, like, really from the beginning. That's why in my day, we actually had a system of banking in school where you optionally put some money in a little bit of a bank account that the school sets up with a local bank, and you put in whatever you want, and you get your bank book returned to you. All this done in your classroom, comes right back to you from the bank. And this is just something that we were trained to do as young children. I wish that option would come back now. However, there are more modern ways, obviously, to do it, but it's the idea to do it at all. But by taking things into tiny increments, things do not seem so overwhelming. For example, when you sit down with your budget in the beginning of the month and you're like freaking out and going, OMG, how can you handle this month's budget? And you start, biting your fingers and everything. Well, here's one thing that I could give you advice, and because, budget time is coming up, since the beginning of next month is coming up. The first thing you do, okay, is write down all the expenses that are needed. Write down all the expenses that are coming up, even if they're needed or not, like birthdays, anniversaries. Include that in your list. Just write it down. Writing it down is not going to do anything other than making it real and you're looking at it. Take away, if you're having a tough time and have to meet like certain extreme obligations, it is totally not necessary to have to buy Uncle Bill's cousin's son a gift for his birthday. A phone call or a card is sufficient. If you can't afford that discretionary item, you knock it off. And don't forget to sit down and sprinkle in some low spend days, some no spend days. And by the way, it's fun to plan a no spend day as opposed to having I can't spend day in the future. When you choose it yourself, the no spend days, you will see the money add up. These are just little things, I'm just throwing in, and it really does make a difference, and it really does add up. So I'm going to link up that Dave Ramsey video in the description box below. I know you will appreciate it, and it's basically talking about the 3 financial mistakes that people make. Very, very interesting. And by the way, I do appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening. And come back tomorrow and we'll talk again. Have an amazing day.